This is gonna be pretty controversial. Or maybe it won't. I don't know. Okay, look. If you do like Design Season 3, I mean, this isn't like a personal attack on you or anything. This is just my own opinion. And this isn't meant to be an attack on Liam either. Like, don't go in this comment section and, like, try to say stuff or anything. Like, if you don't agree with me, you don't agree with me. That's fine. By the way, I suggest you watch it till the very end. Even if you don't agree with me, just trust me, watch it till the very end. This video is about Design Season 3, and it's a sequel to my previous video comparing Design Seasons 1 and 2 to Internecine Cube. If you haven't seen any of those, then click the links that are in the description. Cause you kinda need them to know what's happening. But anyways, here's a quick recap. There's this girl named Callie Ames, and she can control vectors. And there's this boy named John Matthews, and Callie killed all his friends and family. Twice! And then they fell in love. And then John's crazy, like literally crazy, ex-girlfriend Julie was revealed to have the same powers as Callie. Did I mention there's parasites? Oh, and Callie's dead now. Now that you're all caught up, I can talk about Season 3. But first, I'm gonna talk about the stuff I do like about it. Season 3 introduces new types of parasites. Like before they could just levitate stuff, but now they have pyrokinesis. I think that's a really cool organic way to expand upon the ideas of the first two seasons. I also really liked the introduction of Cersei Parsons. Basically, she worked at the facility and tortured the parasites and stuff, but then she ended up getting infested with one of them, and then became one. Which, I mean, they infest only girls, so like, why work there in the first place? But even after becoming one, she still believed they deserved to die. I thought that was really interesting. That actually ties back to the whole theme from seasons 1 and 2, where it was like, oh, who's the real monster? Oh, actually, an issue I have with that whole thing, and this isn't like with season 3, this is with design like as a whole, is how you're like supposed to be rooting for Callie, even though she is actually quite selfish. Like in my last video I said that like, yeah, in retrospect there was a lot of problems with seasons 1 and 2, but like it's still enjoyable, and it's season 3 that made me want to like quit halfway through. Okay, now sadly that is all of the good things I have to say about Season 3, so now let's get into the bad. Now at the end of Season 2, as I said earlier, Callie died, but I thought she wasn't really dead. I thought Dahmer just had her tied her up in a refrigerator somewhere underground in a basement or something, but no, she actually is dead. Now, there isn't anything inherently wrong with that, but trust me, it'll be important later on. So another thing that happened at the end of Season 3 was that John got infested with one of the parasites, even though, like I said, they can only infect girls. I'm guessing they're going to explain that later, but, you know, the series got cut short, so they never did. I don't think I ever mentioned it, but you know how, like, Puppet Game ended before it, like, ended? Like, stopped before it was finished? Yeah, the same thing happened to this. So Cleo has taken over the facility, and she's forcing everyone to compete in these competitions where they fight each other, and sometimes there's chess, I think, and the losers get tortured and experimented on. Okay, that was a lot to unpack. So, like, why is she doing this, though? It seems like a really inefficient way to decide who gets experimented on and who doesn't. And, like, how have the higher-ups, how have the government not, like, noticed this was happening and stepped in and be like, hey, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? This is weird. Stop. 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 Cleo Dahmer is supposed to be a very realistic, grounded villain. She wanted to kill people, yes, but it was for the good of humanity. Now she's just doing it to do it. We've seen the good, we've seen the bad. Now it's time to see the Mari. Oh God, here we go. Where to even begin? So Mari is, God. Like the actual, literal God, Lord and Savior from the Bible and everything. Now, whenever Mari first appeared and she said, "Yo, what up, I'm God," exactly how it happened, I assumed that she was just lying. Like, God, quotation marks. But no, she's telling the truth. She is actually God. Now, I don't want to get religious or anything, but God is an anime girl. Think about that for a moment. Now, I don't know about you, but the actual God just showing up is a bit unexpected. I mean, after everything we've seen in seasons 1 and 2, like I said, the new types of parasites, I like that. That felt organic. This is just something that happened just to happen. Oh, but dear viewer, it gets better. It gets so much better. The introduction of Mari gave way to the introduction of, can you guess? Can you guess what? Can get a multiverse? Always with the damn multiverse. Now, I I know what it looks like. I know what it looks like. I always complain about it on this channel. Well, actually, I don't hate this concept. Now, my brother, he does hate it. I don't hate it. I just like it when it's done well. And I don't like it when it's done badly or when it's overused. You see, Puppet Game not only introduced it in like the second episode and also hinted at it previously, but they also used it in an interesting way. What if immune, plot armored main characters had to fight each other? Who would win then? That's interesting. That's cool. That's good. And I haven't even gotten into what the other timeline is actually about. So basically, in this other timeline, Mari freed Callie before John and his friends were able to arrive at the facility, so John and Callie never met. Oh, that sounds kinda cool, have her roam around the town. John's trying to find her. Maybe. Nope, nothing like that. He just stays in his house trying to unlock the password to a computer or something. Hey, remember Cersei? She's here too. Except instead of being a really interesting, nuanced character, she's boring. Now, these weren't Liam's exact words, but he said something along the lines of John fell in love with Cersei in this other timeline. But no, no, she just came into his house, told him his dad was dead, and then ate a bloody sandwich. That they had no connection at all. Now, I thought killing off Callie was a bit extreme, but I guess it did make for a pretty good, interesting twist. Mix up the status quo. However, this whole alternate timeline thing, I'm half certain was introduced just so Callie could come back. Now, I don't really like it when characters are brought back to life in stories. Even as a kid, I hated it. But I think of all the ways to do it, the multiverse is definitely the worst. Now, maybe Liam wasn't planning on doing this, but I still want to bring it up. At one point, John says, "Hey, I can just take the Callie from the other world and bring her back here." But no, don't do that, because this Callie won't have all the same memories as the one you know. So it's not the same person. you can't just steal someone from their home universe and expect them to adjust immediately. I don't like the idea of them just, Callie dying and then they just get a new one just like that, just replacing her like she was nothing. Now, I'm going to give Liam the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he wasn't going to do that. Maybe he was going to have John realize that was a bad idea. But I still just want to point out this type of thing is bad. Okay, real quick, I gotta address something. In my original puppet game video, I said, oh yeah, Sarah should go live in John's world. This is not the same thing. Because in design, John wanted to replace Callie, but in puppet game, I suggested Sarah go live in John's world. That way she could start over and start a new life. Not the same thing. Totally different. You know how earlier I talked about all the stuff I did like? Well, I kinda lied. There was one other thing I did like. At the end, alternate timeline Cersei, finds out she's in a fictional story or something, I don't know, and she becomes all powerful, and stuff starts glitching out, and she breaks the fourth wall, and I thought that was really cool and chaotic and awesome, but, like I said earlier, design ended early, so we didn't really get to see where that whole thing went. You've seen the title, and yes, it's true. This will be the last Liam video. Just kidding. No, it won't. You've been duped. It's the last Stoll video, but not the last Liam video. There isn't really anything else I have to talk about Stoll. I mean, I could talk about that time it gave me sleep paralysis, but I'm saving that for a childhood traumas video. And, well, there's also C2 Strain. I don't know much about it. I know it's some unfinished, unreleased story. I know Cersei's in it, I think. But I don't feel like reading it. I'm ready to be done with this series, but I guess it's possible that in the future I could, and then maybe I'd want to make a video on it, but the chances of that are very slim. I just wanted to acknowledge that I know it exists. I just don't care enough to check it out. Now, I don't really like ending this series on a bad note, so I'm not gonna. I'm going to end it on a worse note. There's something I just really need to address. You might remember how in my previous video I was like, oh yeah, I noticed how Puppet Game had monster girls, but specifically specifying only girls can get infested is like, I can see what you're trying to do, Liam. What I meant by that was I have no issue with monster girls, it's just that, specifically stating it's only girl, all that feels like he's trying too hard. Like, you could have just had the parasites infect both, and then, coincidence, most of them are girls. That's how it happened in Puppet Game. It's not like, oh, we only choose girls to fight in the tournament. Like, no, just coincidence. That's how it was. You might remember how after that I said, calm down, last time you got angry at monster girls, it didn't end well for you. That just sounds like some throwaway gag, right? Well, it's not. It's not. Right. I don't dislike the whole monster girl thing, but I know there are some fans, quite a lot of them, who, are a bit too obsessed with it, and they, uh, draw the characters, to put it lightly. And that always kind of confused me, because I mean, Liam's stories, they never really had any, fan service or anything like that. Well, almost not any. There's, three examples I can think of. There was, the design anime filler episode. If you've seen the thumbnail for that video, then, yeah, you know what I'm talking about. What else? There's one time he mentioned doing a beach episode, but I'm pretty sure that was just a joke. And there's like the hand ruler thing from Interesting Cube. I don't know if that would count though. Some could argue that the entire plot of Design is a fan service thing since it's about a self-insert of Liam, because let's all admit it, John is Liam. You know, he meets a cute girl, they go on an adventure, you know, the male fantasy. Wait, hold on, it's the male fantasy for both your parents to die? But yeah, even though that's what design is at its core, it still isn't really as sleazy as some other takes on the concept. I don't know if you've figured it out yet, but I really don't like fan service. And I don't mean like Easter egg fan service, I mean like, you know what kind I mean, okay? You know what kind I mean. And I will also say this. I don't dislike anime. I don't watch that much of it. Usually I watch it with like friends, but yeah, I do watch a lot of YouTube animation and often it can be based around anime, but like still just thought I should get that out of the way. I don't watch it that much, but I don't like dislike it. But right, going back to the original topic, I once got into an argument with another fan over the whole fan art thing, and it did not end well. Whenever I think of those times, I like to think we were both on the bad side. So, yeah. My way of handling the situation was very bad, but I still firmly believe that this type of fan art is bad in the end. Because, I mean, just look at stuff like FNAF, where, like, it's completely defined the fan base. It's not something you want. There's actually another issue, a very serious issue I have with, art like this. And a lot of people don't address this, and it's probably because most people just don't realize it's true. But basically, when this type of behavior becomes like a common, normal thing on the internet, some people are gonna take it too far without realizing. Just look at the whole Jaden Animations thing. I don't even watch her videos and I feel bad. Now, fan art wasn't the only thing I had disputes about with the other fans. We would constantly agree on different things like which character was the best or, season 3. And these weren't just like, disagreements. These were like full on aggressive arguments. And yeah, maybe part of it was my fault. Maybe I'm not ready to join a fan base. But they could have at least had some sympathy. Just understand my point of view. You don't have to agree with me, you just have to understand me. I just noticed earlier I said agree when I meant to say disagree, so sorry about that. I don't feel like fixing it. So, what's the main takeaway from all this? What do I want to leave you with? I guess the message you should walk away with is never give up. I have gotten really frustrated with YouTube many times and considered giving up, but here I am. And Liam has gone on many hiatuses, but not a single one was permanent. In fact, this entire series was one big passion project, and it started out as some fever dream. But even if you fail, even after everything, you still can't make it, well, at least you can say that you tried. And who knows, sometimes trying when you can't does work out. And maybe you're sad about this series finishing, or maybe you're sad about Scary Storytime finishing, but I mean, me and Liam, we're still around. And Ood once said, "This song is ending, but the story never ends." And that's a wrap. We did it, everyone. We finished the Liam series. We tied up all the loose ends, covered all the lore, covered all the opinions. I even threw in a few Doctor Who references since I watched them around the same time. But wait a second. What am I supposed to talk about now? Oh god! Oh no! I've been talking about Liam so much it's become my entire identity! If I can't find something Liam-esque to talk about, then my channel's gonna die, and I'm gonna end up another has-been YouTuber. Hold on. Has-been. Why does that sound so familiar? Me, 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 me.